Hi, thanks for looking in. Today I thought we'd make a patch and we'll make it on the Polybrute. Hopefully it will provide some inspiration for some of you. So we'll start by initializing the patch we're on here by pressing left on the panel, holding it and hitting preset. And we are initialized. Good. Now the Polybrute, as you may know already, has two voltage controlled oscillators, VCO1, VCO2. Both provide three basic waveforms: sawtooth, triangle and square. Now VCO1 has wave folding. They title it the metalizer, and that just adds variance with added harmonics. VCO2 has the sub oscillator. Both our oscillators provide pulse width for the famous PWM, pulse width modulation. What the Polybrute doesn't have is sine wave, a sine wave. Or does it? Well, on many synthesizers, the filter section will allow us to crank the resonance to create feedback at the frequency of the cutoff. Now, I've got nothing at the moment. I've got my VCOs turned down. Now listen, if I crank the resonance on the Sine filter right up, that's called self-oscillation. And that is a pure sine wave. And because it's feeding back at the frequency of the cutoff, we can tune it with the cutoff knob. And we can also play it on the keyboard, depending on how good the key tracking is on the synthesizer. On the Polybrute it's very good, so if I turn up the key tracking all the way, I can play it up and down the keys. The ladder filter is able to do the same thing. I'll demonstrate just very quickly. I've turned down the resonance on the Steiner filter. I'll now crank it on the ladder filter. There we go again. Pure sine wave. Now, how do we use this? So let's use the sine wave that we're getting from the feedback on our Steiner filter. Let's use that in our patch today. So I'm going to tune it first of all to the correct key. I'm going to do that by bringing in VCO2 and hear what note we're at. And now I'm going to tune it with the cutoff. I'm going to tune our sine wave. Nearly. Yeah, we're there. So that's in tune now. I'm going to ruin that now because I actually want it up. I actually want to tune it up 5 semitones. So I want to tune our D to there. I think that's where I wanted it. Yeah. So now that I've got our sine wave tuned 5 semitones above our VCO2, we're going to do something interesting now to make a patch. So VCO2, have it as a square wave. On the Polybrute we have a section called Filter FM down here. Our first knob allows us to modulate our Steiner filter with VCO2. Let's see how that sounds. Now I've got that up just over 3/4 of the way. Sounds nice and dirty. So, listen to this. I'm going to turn down VCO2 now. Up again. Down. Virtually no difference between them. So I'm going to leave VCO2 turned down now. So this is our sine wave coming from our Steiner filter being modulated by a turned down VCO2. Now, to make it interesting, we're going to modulate the pulse width of VCO2. We're going to put the pulse width straight up the middle first of all. Oh, listen to that. We're going to modulate that with, we'll set it up here by just twisting the pulse width. Now we've got that set up here in our matrix, and I'm going to modulate it with LFO1. Turn it up. Just turn down the speed of LFO1 there, and I've given it about 10%. 10% on the amount of modulation. That is our sine wave coming from our Steiner filter being modulated by a turned down VCO2, which is being pulse width modulated by our LFO1. That's the only thing that's happening in the entire mod matrix, is LFO1 is modulating the pulse width of a turned down VCO2. Right. So let's set up some envelope carry on here. So our amp envelope, we'll leave the attack at 0. Give it a bit of decay and a high enough sustain. Some release. That sounds about right. Now I'm going to set our LFO1 to re-trigger actually. Sounded good. Let's give it some chorus. Yep. Let's give it some reverb. Nice. That is ignoring most of the unique selling points of the Polybrute. We're not using the morph, we're not morphing from one patch to another. The mod matrix, all I'm doing there is using one slot to modulate the pulse width of VCO2 with the LFO. That's all we're doing. And a couple of basic effects. It's really the FM here that's making this. It's doing all the heavy lifting. Now, I'm going to put our filters in series as opposed to parallel. That will allow me to shape things further with the ladder filter. Because our Steiner filter is now coming through the ladder filter. Now get the filter envelope to alter the behavior of the ladder filter. Sounding good? thanks very much for dropping in today. I hope that provided a little bit of inspiration and also demonstrated just what a powerful synthesizer this is. As I say, barely touching the features that make the Polybrute the synth that it's known to be. I'll catch you again soon. Keep your eyes open. I hope to be doing a box opening soon of a new toy arriving. See you then.